We are grateful for the substantive briefing. We're grateful to the Assistant Secretary General, Mr. Alexander Zuev. We attach great importance to being regularly briefed by the Secretary General about the mine action by the specialized UN bodies pursuant to Resolution 2365. We consider the report by Mr. Guterres on the comprehensive approach to this kind of work as a step towards implementing the disarmament agenda. We note the attempt made by the Secretary General to make sure that the document is neutral, impartial, and balanced, and factually reflect the main activities undertaken by the UN in 2017 in the area of demining and clearing the territory from landmines, explosive remnants of war, and improvised explosive devices. At the same time, what we noted that there was a certain overemphasizing amongst the significant trends of the humanitarian risks related to the mine threats in Syria and in the east of Ukraine. We also regret the fact that the report does not reflect the Russian mine action efforts. We are one of the more active participants of the Convention on this and will therefore contribute significantly to international efforts to reduce the threat from landmines, explosive remnants of war, and IED within the framework of implementing Resolution 2365, and we yearly submit national reports on that. In 2016 and 2017, a demining unit under the International Mine Action Center of our armed forces carried out 4 operations on humanitarian demining in Syria. 2 of them in the historic architectural compound and the urban area of Palmyra, as well as in Aleppo and Deir ez-Zor. All in all, 6.5 thousand hectares of territory was cleared, as well as 1.5 thousand kilometers of road and more than 17,000 buildings. We detected and diffused 105,000 remnants of war, out of which 30,000 IEDs. What is being done by the Russian armed forces in Syria is a painstaking work to remove the IED threat, and this is contribution to the implementation of the GA Resolution 72/36. We also actively helped in building the advisory, technical, and operational potential for demining. On the basis of the Mine Action Center I just mentioned, we are preparing specialists on demining, detection, and diffusing the IEDs, the operators of mobile robots, and the mine detection service staff. At the same time, I'd like to say that the center is open for professional exchanges with all interested parties. For example, in 2017, we trained 207 Russian officers and 36 foreign military staff. An important step was also opening by us a branch in 2016 in Aleppo, and already more than 1,000 demining specialists for the Syrian armed forces were trained there. I would like to point out that those who were trained by the Russian center, the Syrian deminers, therefore received modern technical means of detecting explosives and protective equipment, and they are already participating in demining in eastern Ghouta, southern suburbs of Damascus, eastern Kalamun, and Homs. The efforts undertaken by the Russian Federation are of great importance to restore the infrastructure which is necessary for the refugees and the temporarily displaced when they are returning home. It is worthy of note that this approach is reflected in the report. But when it comes to Darfur and Iraq, for example, the Secretary General reports on specific work, but when it comes to Syria, he simply mentions the tasks ahead and immediately says that there are difficulties of access. The Russian anti-mine efforts show very clearly that access issues have nothing to do with this. In our view, involving the UN Mine Action Service in work in Syria is something that's being unjustifiably delayed. And this has to do not just with the unresolved issues of the office in Damascus and its head, but also it's related to the familiar to us politicization of humanitarian topics by the potential donors who do not want to contribute to normalizing the life in Syria. In conclusion, I would like to point out that the Russian Federation pays a great attention to the development of international cooperation in mine clearance. In October 2017 and in May of this year, the engineering troops of our armed forces conducted 2 international conferences on humanitarian demining. Delegations from 24 countries participated in those. We continue cooperating closely with the Geneva International Center on Humanitarian Demining. The Russian experts participated also in the work on preparing international standards on IED, standards which was organized by the UNMAS.